All right, the next one I want to talk about. This is a 12-minute video. This is the Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. I don't know why they call it Marvel 1943. It's made by Marvel, right? It's 1943 Rise of Hydra is what the actual title is. So let's go watch this now. I watched this yesterday. I watched this afterwards. The stream. This is insane. Okay, this is insane. The amount of detail that they have in this video game. Now I'll talk about the video game at the end, like once we see it. But the tech itself, holy Christ, man! This looks so. As a tech guy myself, as being in the industry and watching the guy on stage with the camera, using that camera to go through the world, is just really cool. So let's check this out.
It's my pleasure to introduce one of the greatest storytellers in video games, my good friend, Amy Hennig. Amy, come on up.
Buddy, you finally
It's awesome to see you here.
Thank you, Kim. And look, we are so excited to finally show what we've been working on at Skydance New Media. And I just got to say, I am so proud of what the team has accomplished. My God.
It's incredible.
Right.
Amy, I'm sure the audience is wanting to know more about your game and the team. Can you tell us about it?
Sure. Well, as the trailer hopefully illustrates, we are creating a story-driven World War II era Marvel action-adventure game with an ensemble of playable heroes. But
She feels like a person to me that just doesn't give a shit, right? She's just doing stuff. People like gap to her, and she's just like, yeah, whatever.
here's what's important to note. People might not think this. This isn't some custom demo that we made just for this show. That's our game.
That is your
right? All the sequences you just saw in that trailer are all pulled right out of our game.
Oh, you know what? Before we watch this, we should watch the trailer first, right? We should watch the trailer first. Let's watch the trailer because let's watch the trailer first.
They're combing the streets, searching house to house.
If they arrest you two, they will take you to their headquarters, and you will not return.
I'm more concerned with the 6-foot cat man who's got claws that can cut through vibranium alloy. By my count, that makes 2 super soldiers loose in Paris.
3, counting you.
And that's 2 too many.
I'll be there before the sun rises. Before the Germans, before that American. The Eye of Force has been found.
Please, just stick to the rooftops. Be careful, Stanwasami.
When am I not?
It's better if I tackle this one alone.
You may encounter some obstacles.
That won't be a problem.
Our cat friend is definitely here too. By the look of things, he's not very far ahead.
The American boy is right on your heels.
Who the hell are you?
If you wanted us dead, we'd be dead. So what do you want?
Answers.
That's far enough!
Stay out of my way!
Stand aside!
I do not take orders from anyone!
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
Graphic-wise, it looks intense. Yeah, coming in 2025. Can we just imagine for a second? Can we imagine this? These graphics? But for Suicide Squad. Or for Marvel's Avengers. Right? Playing with these characters. Can you imagine? Okay. Let me get the other thing now. Now that we have the context, you saw the trailer. Now you understand what she's saying. So let's talk about that. All right.
Running real time and Unreal Engine 5, no smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
So that's the game. That's the trailer, but they're showing you now in this tech demo the game. This is not a cut section to show you at the game. This is the game and the technology they're using with the Unreal Engine, and just watch what they do here.
I'd expect nothing less from your team. It's absolutely incredible. As with many of your past projects, you're really bridging the gap between films and games. But this is a whole new level. What's different nowadays compared to the old days?
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you and I have known each other for what, over a decade now?
Over a decade, yeah.
Right. And we immediately hit it off, and I think it's because we've been chasing the same dream, right?
True, yes.
Which is to create richly interactive experiences
That key word right there. And I know we're looking at these graphics, but she says richly interactive experience. Okay? And I get it. As a gamer, okay, I'm looking at this going, this looks fucking amazing. But again, we know nothing about the game yet. Okay? We know nothing about the game. Is it a game as a game, or is it a movie? Now, there's an interview with her years ago talking about how they need a broader audience, right? And that's why she makes the games that she makes, because the average person that plays a game, less than 50%, less than 30%, less than 10% of people actually buy games and finish those games. This is from her mouth, not here, but in a past interview, okay? So talking about that and then saying that she's making an interactive experience, okay? So let me rewind again.
the same dream, right?
True, yes.
Which is to create richly interactive experiences that are cinematic, immersive, and make you feel like you're in a movie, but with all the player agency that you expect from a really great game, right?
Absolutely.
And in the past, this has always felt like it was just beyond our grasp. But I think we're finally crossing that threshold.
Yeah, which
She reminds me of like George Lucas talking about movies back in the day, which she's talking about in video games now, right? And movies and video games are now making that cross. Like, you look at that, I would take that trailer that we just saw as a movie than what Marvel's putting out as a movie itself. You see what I'm saying? Like, I would take a whole cinematic universe of what she's putting on this screen right now than what Disney's doing with their live action / CGI type of stuff. I will take all of this over that.
trying our best.
Yes, we're trying our best, yeah. And look, when we're telling a character-driven story, it's critical for us to be able to really faithfully capture and honor every nuance of our actors' stellar performances. So we've been incredibly grateful to be able to partner closely with our friends on the MetaHuman team to tell our story.
Tell us a little bit about the visuals in the game.
Well, again, thanks to Epic and the Unreal Engine development team, we've been able to leverage some of the new Nanite and Lumen features being released in the 5.4. And honestly, this is really helping our team to achieve a level of visual fidelity that enables us to present this authentically grounded Marvel universe.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go a little bit deeper and see some of these features that the team has used by firing up a level in the game. So,
Firing up a level in the game.
let's do that.
Sounds good. Okay. First, I'd like to introduce two of my colleagues, Colin Hennon, our cinematic animation director,
Yay!
and Roman Adiola, our director of photography.
The dude is using a camera in the game right now. I don't know if you guys understand this, right? He's wired in to the game. He's doing what James Cameron did back in the day with Avatar, where he was like flying around inside the game. That's what he's doing right now.
So Colin will be live and editor, and Roman will be on the virtual camera, just like he is at all of our performance capture shoots. So, if you all are ready, let's switch the feed and go back to that bridge environment. And let's see, yep, you're live, good.
Like, okay, let me just put this in perspective. He's the director of photography. They're the game developers. They've created the entire game. The game's going to do what the game does, okay? And they can pause and whatever. and then he can take the camera and decide what picture, where to do the composition of the things that you just watched in the trailer.
Okay. So, Colin, let's boom down and take a closer look at this environment. So, to create a really immersive game experience, the characters and environments have to work together harmoniously. We can't just drop believable characters into a less than convincing world. So, we need to start with authentic and densely detailed environments as the setting to our story. And look, because part of our story is set in 1940s occupied Paris, we needed the world to have a really believable and visceral level of detail and grit.
I would love to do this. I would absolutely drop everything to go do this in video games.
As you can see here. So, Roman, why don't we focus on the ground here for a bit? Now look at that. That's an amazing amount of detail. It would have been
Like, he is the camera in the world. The world is just living, and he's flying through just like you would with your mouse or whatnot. But he's doing it live.
been nearly impossible to get something this complex to run in real time without the new features in 5.4. So, Kim, let's talk about some of the levels of detail that we're seeing here.
Sure. So we're talking about Nanite's new adaptive tessellation feature. So whilst Nanite lets you create environments like you're seeing here of incredible detail, the memory requirements can become impractical to realize for such a level of complexity across a huge level without the need for lots of instancing. And we thought that was a challenge and we wanted to deal with it.
So, Colin, let's actually strip this scene right down to the dirt so folks can see what we're talking about.
So, see how simple this
Remember now, this is their game. This is not a piece just for this. They're literally manipulating the game live with the Unreal Engine 5.4.
This is relatively simple ground plane. Actually, let's show the triangle so you can actually see what's there. Just a few hundred triangles. Let's pop it back to the beauty render view. But with this new dynamic tessellation capability, we can actually displace that simple geometry and create new three-dimensional geometry of the quality that you're used to with Nanite. With nothing more than layering tile textures and using shader logic, you can make incredibly complex effects. So instead of me trying to explain it, let's get Colin to show the magic, and let's see a transformation of this face. This technique allows you to see an unprecedented level of geometric detail.
Look at this.
But it's also memory efficient and can be changed dynamically in the runtime of your game. So things like footprints or tire tracks or even supernatural effects, if you would want them, can be visualized. And just to show how this simple geometry has now been transformed, let's have a look at the triangle view again. There you go. What you expect from Nanite. So it's a really, really smart, interesting technique to actually get details into the games without crazy, crazy amounts of geometry.
Let's switch it back to the detail view. Thank you. And of course, as you can imagine, this technology isn't just useful for...
Look, this is not about like the gameplay. Look at the lighting that's happening right now. Look at the lights that are happening right now, and then look at the reflection down here. That's the truck lighting. This light coming over here, the shadows that are going on. Like, it's insane. Now, obviously, are you going to get this look on your Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 when the game comes out? I don't know. I'm more impressed with the technology of what they're doing for video games now, okay, and what Epic is doing. There's no difference of what you're looking at right here and watching The Mandalorian. You see what I'm saying? It's the same technology that they're using in the background and what they're doing.
For the ground and for the ground terrain, it applies to every detail in the environment. So let's fly over to that pile of objects on the left over there, for example. And Colin, while we do, can you kill those headlights for me? Cool. Thank you. Okay, so imagine our challenge. We're trying to authentically recreate a harsh winter in occupied Paris. That means every prop, every object, every detail, every rooftop needs to be realistically blanketed in snow. So now let's show how we can dial up the snow accumulation on these objects.
Look at that.
Right? And of course, we can dial it back as desired.
It's making me feel chilly, actually.
Yeah, actually, it's a little cold up here.
Or maybe it's just nerves.
And remember, of course, like Kim said, thanks to this technology, this is all actual geometry. So you can see how tools like these would really empower even a small team to art direct and set dress their environments dynamically. It enables our artists to create a series of layers in the environment and then build up the complexity, layer by layer by layer. Now, Speaking of set dressing, let's go check out that fire barrel over by the watchtower we saw earlier. Yeah, that's the one there. And let's turn on a light to really illuminate the smoke coming out of the barrel. Thank you. Look at that. That's amazing.
Did you see that? Look at the smoke, right? Look at the smoke, and then as soon as that light turns on, the amount of the difference. You guys are probably not getting the same. I'm seeing it in a better quality than you guys are seeing it. Come on. So cool.
Thank you. Look at that. That's amazing. We could have never achieved effects this realistic in the past.
So this is what we call heterogeneous volumes. In the past, effects like these would be done with particle sprites. But that's kind of a cheat that often breaks down and can...
See, that's where we differ, Altern. I'm more impressed with the technology of what it is, and I'm okay if it comes out at 30 frames. I'm okay if it comes out at 60 frames. What I'm saying is I'm more infatuated with what they're doing with the technology than what the final product is. The final product will probably be a little bit downgraded or a lot downgraded. Like, look at Watch Dogs. Look at Salty brought it up the other day or yesterday. 1868, 1886, whatever the hell that game was called. Okay, that showed like 12 years ago, and those graphics looked phenomenal. And then you saw the end product. It feels the same way, and that was over a decade ago, right? It's more about what they can do with the technology.
Look flat. It's nice from afar, but far from nice, as we say back in the UK. So if we look at the glow...
Yeah, that's it. 1866.
Of the fire...
The 1866? I thought it was 1886.
As it dynamically illuminates the volumetric smoke, you can see that light transmitting through the volume. You can also see that the smoke itself is casting shadows onto the world, but also itself. These volumetrics can also mix...
Yeah. The smoke is literally making the shadow over there. Like, it's crazy.
More traditional effects as well. So if you do want to put particles in there, fog, or even cards, you can do it. It all works in a unified way. You can run the simulation, the smoke simulation, in Unreal Engine natively if you want, or you can import OpenVDB datasets as sparse volume textures, resulting in film quality visual effects, volumetric visual effects, all running in real time that are totally responsive to dynamic lighting.
Yeah, and it just looks incredible. Now, of course, all of this is just...
Yeah, it's 1886? Okay.
...to help us tell our story, right? And the story is nothing without great characters. So let's head back over to the bridge and catch up with Cap. Now, an essential part of any character's persona, particularly a Marvel hero, is their look. And it can be really
right, keep that in mind, Rose, because I'm going to talk about that in a little bit later.
Distracting if the outfit doesn't look as realistic and believable as the rest of the world. As you can see, Cap's leather uniform fits just like you would expect in real life, with all the correct material properties and the complexity of creases forming as he moves.
From a technical perspective, this is where we can effectively utilize machine learning. We can set up and run complex simulations in a package like Houdini and import that data into UE. We then use this to train an ML model, producing film quality deformations.
Look at the quality on him.
That run in real time.
But none of this matters without great facial performances. So let's bring Azuri, T'Challa's grandfather and our Black Panther, into this scene, this time with his mask off.
But I know who you are, Captain. America's hero, dancing around in red, white, and blue underwear.
Completely different scene. Now you know why the actors want the mask off and not on.
That shield that you hide behind does not belong to you. You are unworthy of it.
Graphics are just a little bit better than Starfield, right?
Right, and as he pauses here, Roman, why don't you go in really close and really show everybody the detail that we have in these models.
Look at that, dude. That to me, that looks real. That's crazy.
It's insane, right? Like,
amazing.
It's essential for us to retain every nuance of the outstanding performance that our actor, Kari Payton, brought to Azuri's character.
She's like, that's insane. And she's the one making it.
What you just saw there were untouched metahuman animator solves. So working with the metahuman process, we've been able to honor our amazing actors' performances and faithfully transform them into equally powerful digital performances. Now, of course, it all starts with the actor's talent, and we're fortunate to have two of our cast with us in the audience today. So I'd like to introduce Drew Moorline, who plays Captain America.
Yay!
Okay, now I want you to think about this for a second, right? You saw what Captain America looked like in the video. You saw what Black Panther looked like. Here's the actors that played them. They're spot on. Now look at some of the characters that you saw from like the Spider-Man games and stuff, where they take the actors and stuff that they're using and completely and utterly change them. It's like a 1-to-1 ratio here.
Yeah.
Okay, this is awkward. All right, let's shake. Like, no, fuck it, we're going in for the hug.
And Kari Payton, our Black Panther. See, they hug. They're friends. They're not really fighting. It's all good. And of course, I want to take this opportunity to thank them and the rest of our wonderful cast for going on this incredibly crazy journey with us. And now, as a special treat, let's take a look at the entire bridge scene that you saw earlier. But this time, we'll keep Azuri's mask off to really showcase what we can do when all this incredible talent and all these amazing features come together. But remember, this is running entirely in real time.
Awesome.
That's far enough! I'm here on the business of the United States government.
Yours is not the only business here. Stay out of my way.
Stand aside!
I do not take orders from anyone. Turn around, boy. Go home.
Look, pal, I don't know who you are.
But I know who you are. Captain, America's hero, dancing around in red, white, and blue underwear.
Says the man dressed like an overgrown house cat.
That shield that you hide behind does not belong to you. You are unworthy of it.
I don't have time for this.
Neither do I.
All in engine, and just to show there's no cheating going on, hey, Colin, can you show the editor and the sequence of
That's the game.
timelines? So it really is running on Unreal Engine.
We don't cheat. Yeah.
So, absolutely incredible. I've never seen performances in a video game that are so believable.
So here's the thing, right? And what I think is amazing is the technology of it. Now, let's talk about, Rose said it a little bit earlier, right? Of 1886, it was more of a movie game, right? And it wasn't really a game. It was very, very short. And it was just, that's what it was. I feel like that's what this is. Now, for me personally, I'm okay with that. Like, I understand there's games that people want to play as games, right? Like the actual game itself, where it's the core of the game is like hard, it's difficult, like a Dark Souls, like an Elden Ring, something that really tests your skill as a gamer. But then there's what she said in the very beginning, and she said in an interview years ago, is that they want a more broader audience to play video games. It's another medium like movies. I worked in the film industry. I love films. I love film games as well because it's a piece of entertainment. And the difference between a movie and what a game can do in a game like this, like, I like watching the Marvel films because I'm a Captain America fan. I'm a Marvel fan. And I'm just an audience member. But if I can control the character and feel like I'm part of it, okay, and then, sure, there's game mechanics and game things that happen, but I don't think this game is going to be a game, right? It's not going to be like super combative where hard difficulty levels of combo maneuvers and stuff like that. It's not going to be like a Dark Souls. It's definitely going to be more of a game. And again, in my opinion, like a game like 1886 or a game like a God of War, where yes, you're playing the game, or a Spider-Man. Spider-Man, you did fight. You fought. Okay. But it was like a cinematic movie as well. And I'm not, trashing those games. That's what type of games those are. The Uncharted game is fun. You're controlling Nathan Drake as you go through, and you're figuring out puzzles and do all this stuff. But when it comes down to it, you're just sitting there watching. Final Fantasy does it. It's more of a movie type game. And that's what they're trying to do. She's trying, again, very thing she said was the interactive, okay, to get more broader audience to come in and play these games. Okay, a cinematic experience, but in video game form. So when I look at this game, I'm super excited because I think this looks better than anything. The premise of the story, okay, is better than what they're doing with the actual movies and TV shows right now for Marvel. Okay, so I'm excited for this game, but I'm not excited for the game to be like an Elden Ring or you know, a Wuhong type of stuff. I'm excited for the game because I'm a Marvel fan and I like the stories and I like the movies and I really like the technology they're doing. I would buy this game just as a more of a modern Marvel of what this industry, where it could be going and what they're doing with the technology, right? You get games like The Day Before that's using the Unreal Engine and whatnot, but then if the right tool is in the right artist's hands, what they can make, that's amazing looking. It's amazing looking.